This is Johnny Biggs doing a little podcast with my dad, John Biggs. Just going to go through a few questions. So, this is a storyboard that we've done. It's just a bit of an example in case my dad does a book about himself and also biography. So, the first question, Dad, is adoption days. Is what memories can you remember? I know it was early times, but can you remember anything about the adoption days or about your whole family?
What day is it today? It's the 6th of December, isn't it? 2025. And going through the storyboard, it's quite a challenge. It's just a matter of got a little bit more time now and we can do a few things. And when I think of when I was adopted, I don't have a lot of memories, to be honest. But I know I was adopted in 1949 at a very early age as a baby, and my real mother and father, the Fosbrooks, thought that we would go to have a better life, and this is where who we know as Bill and Gladys. They adopted us down in Manchester here. My mum Gladys, as people know her, she was born over in Southport, where my father Bill William, he was born in Liverpool. So they got married and we lived in Fay Avenue at a very early age, and that's where I spent my childhood days, in Fay Avenue in Charlestown. So I've always been a member of the North Manchester crew. So yeah, I enjoyed my adoption days. My real mother and father, it's Bill and Gladys for me, and they're the ones that brought me up.
And also, I've put a note down here that you have got a half sister somewhere.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about her or name?
Not a lot. I went up to they live in Chester, and we went up there one day because Auntie Mary and Uncle Jim wanted to kind of find a little bit of history, and we did have a sister. She did look like us, to be honest, but I didn't really want to keep in contact. As far as I'm concerned, my family is down here in Manchester. And
so what year would that have been that you went to see her?
That was some, I don't know, I think it was back in the 2002 or something like that.
So you got to speak to her?
I actually spoke to her, yeah.
And how did she seem?
Seemed alright, and
yeah. She got kids?
They've got their own, they've got children. I don't know how many, I didn't really go into it all that much. If it had been left to me, I wasn't going to go.
Right.
It was more Auntie Mary and Uncle Jim that wanted to.
There was no yearning there to find out?
No, not really.
Yeah. So, to move on to the next question, Charlestown Primary School days, what was they like and what kind of memories do you have from Charlestown Primary School?
Well, we had obviously different teachers, but Mr. Lasty was the headmaster at the time. Was it Mr. Shepherd. Mr. Shepherd, he was the headmaster.
I remember that name.
At Charlestown Primary School. Trying to kind of go back in years, it's not easy. Well, we've got photographs, and we always had a photograph. Granddad, we were given the photographs when Grandma passed away. I got the photographs from Granddad from the early school days at Charlestown Primary.
We'll put them online, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. Yeah,
Facebook.
I kind of put the names on, and put the years on, how old we were, and the year it was taken. Back in 58, so I'd be 10 in 58.
So did you have any good teachers or bad teachers that you remember?
There was one teacher, Miss Mosley, she was the one with the slipper.
She give you a whack?
We always, everyone I meet even today, Miss Mosley is still alive.
Is she?
She came on the Market once and I recognised her. And I said, "Have you still got your slipper, Miss Mosley?" She said, "No, I'll throw that away."
It's in my bag.
But there were days you just behaved yourself and made sure you didn't get a whack with a slipper.
So which one was, do you remember the good teachers that you looked up to?
Not really, I think as
all
a
the same.
child, I think they were all the same and they all treated you right.
Yeah.
But I noticed from kind of those days and today, I mean, we had like 40 and 50 children in a class,
Really?
which you don't get that anymore now. And it was, I should imagine those days was difficult for one teacher to keep control and try and give the education that you would want at that age, early age.
So what was it like with your twin brother, Uncle Jim and Uncle Bob at the school? Did they go to the same school?
Well, Uncle Bob, obviously no. Well, he went to Charlestown, but also he was 3 years older, so he ended up at Moss House School, which was a senior school at that time. So we went from primary school up to Moss House.
It's weird that, because when I went to North Manchester Boys, they called Moss House the lower school,
Yeah.
and then the Chain Bar was the
Yeah.
upper school.
Yeah, well,
So
we
it's
didn't have
unusual.
Yeah, we didn't have chain. We didn't have chain bar.
Oh, so you just had the
So it was
one.
just the one Moss
Right.
House school
That makes sense then.
where everybody
Yeah.
everybody went to. But I think the
And
upper
then that
school,
got built.
yeah, the upper school got built, so there was a bit of he's better or she's better than us, and you went to the upper school. And
Yeah.
those that didn't have it went to the lower school.
So can you think of any good friends that you made at primary school? Was there any best mates that you're still in contact with now?
Well,
Anyone?
there's Raymond Forsyth who I'm still in contact with. He lived in Bay Avenue where we were brought up, and
Linda? Nomads?
yeah, Linda Simpson, for instance. Yeah, I should
Forget
call
her.
Linda Simpson now. Yeah, Linda. We're working together now. We're volunteering together to keep our over 50s group together, North City Nomads. But we'll come on to that.
What was she like at school? She
I
live
don't.
wire?
It's very. Because I used to have a crush on one of the girls there. Parnell, I think her name was. I've even forgotten her name now. It was Josie. Parnell. But anyway,
Yeah.
you had your early days crushes,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed school. There was good lessons. I liked my maths.
Yeah.
I liked.
See, I loved primary school, but I thought that my secondary school days I didn't seem to like. The primary school days was great because it was like no pressure on you really.
No,
I don't know
think,
if it was the same back when
I think
you
it's
was
the
there.
same in all primary school, and there's always pressure when you go into upper school.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's very difficult to prepare yourself at the time.
And you get the bullying as
That's
well
when the
to
bullying
deal with.
starts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's mainly when you go to upper school.
Yeah.
Um,
So let's go on to the next one. Was now you've just tipped on that is the Clough Top experience. That was the secondary school at the top of Pinfold Avenue. What were them days
well,
like?
isn't it ironic that we're now doing the interview here at Pinfold?
That's crazy. That.
In my days as a teenager, I used to walk up Pinfold
To get there.
to the bungalow that used to be there for the caretaker, and to Clough Top School, which was just across on the other side of what we used to call the Hollers was the girls' school. So the boys spent many a days going up and down the Hollers to the girls' school.
To
But-
pester them.
Well, Club Top School, I mean, it was a secondary modern school. It wasn't a high school. I enjoyed the days, but that's where I started getting out of lessons, because one of the teachers used to come in to me and say, does anybody want to do any gardening or helping me in the greenhouse? So I put my hand up. I thought anything to get out of lessons. So I got into the greenhouse, and I think that's what really brought on my kind of green fingers, with working at when I started working at the youth club, which we'll come on to later.
But you can't remember that teacher's name.
I can't. It was a lady
You got her
teacher.
to thank for that then.
Well, yeah. And she kind of taught me how to grow bulbs and things like that. And every time she came in, you know, does anybody want to go in the greenhouse? My hand was up first, and I enjoyed it. And we had a little greenhouse there, and we put seeds in and grew all sorts of vegetables, and that's where I passed it on at a later stage in life at the youth centre.
So was that like once
So-
a week you did that? Or?
Yeah, about once a week we used to
Yeah.
do that, so obviously I look forward to that.
So that's where you got that kind of thing that you've passed on at the youth club
Yeah.
when you've been at the youth club.
Yeah.
We've done that with the kids at the club, so you're sort of like doing what somebody did for you
Well, that's right. I've
at your
carried it
school.
on.
You carried that on,
Yeah.
and the same thing could be said about volunteering as well.
Well, that's
It's
right.
a knock-on effect, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
So
And that's why when further along the interview we'll talk about Mr. and Mrs. Elliott. It was through them that I started youth work, because after they passed away, I wanted to carry on what they'd started. And this is the same thing as I did the greenhouse work in the gardening, and I carried it on at the youth club. So that's what's kept me going.
So before everyone knows Southdown Crescent, before that you all went to a youth club at St Mark's Church, the Green Tin Hut it was called, was it?
Yeah, the Green Tin Hut.
So what was your days like?
Obviously it was called the
Yeah.
Green Tin Hut because basically that's all it was.
It was green.
It was a Green Tin Hut, and I used to be a choir boy for St Mark's. Me, my twin brother Jim, and Bob, also Uncle Bob used to be a choir boy. So all three
He
of
can
us.
sing.
Yeah, he could sing. That's
Can't
right.
see that.
But it was me and Uncle Jim that really carried it on, and
So who started that youth club off there?
so Mr. Elliott and Graham Ball, Frank Nicholson, those kind of people, they started off. Mrs. Elliott was there, because I always remember St Mark's Church. We used to have to sweep it all out. It was soaking wet sometimes because it was leaking. That's the reason
It's
St
like
Mark's
Southdown
had
days.
a new, ended up with a new church, because it was leaking that bad. So we used to just use it once a week on a Friday, sweep out, so we could have a game of table tennis and a game of snooker. We used to pay a penny to go in, and for that old penny, the old penny, you got entrance fee in, and you got a cup of tea and a morning coffee or 2 morning coffee biscuits for a penny. But we were there a couple of hours. We enjoyed it. Yeah, those were good days.
So can you think of any names that went to the first youth club that you're still in contact with?
I'm not sure whether Dennis Lynch was there, but mainly the ones that I can remember are the ones that really started at Southdown Crescent.
I wonder if that's where Fred Eyre went to as well, or did he just go to Southdown?
No, he went. No, he. There was I think it was St John Bosco's. They had a community hall. I think there was one down there called White Moss.
Club,
That's the one that Fred went to, Fred Air.
Oh right.
So there was that one, and ours, which
Because he
was
made something there, didn't he?
White
Fred?
Moss Boys Club's ours.
He made something that he talked about to me.
Yeah,
He made something there, and he always remembers the bird that he made.
yeah.
And I don't know where that was.
I
Where
don't
he
know
made
whether that was. I'm not sure myself, to be honest.
I think because it was a long time ago.
Well,
I think
yeah.
he's.
Yeah.
It's a bit hazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But it's nice to be able to kind of include Fred because he's kept with us.
Mm.
You know, even
Through the good and the bad.
yeah. Coming here to see Muriel and giving her flowers and having time for people, and that's what I used to like with Fred.
So what was the transition from St Mark's to Southdown? How did that happen, or did one close and one open, or was it just a bit of?
Well, the
good luck?
church eventually had to close. St Mark's Church had to close because it was becoming terrible. And also, we had to raise the money, and we used to have a boys' club week while we were at St Mark's, and we used to go around local houses collecting them, putting envelopes through doors and collecting money, and we raised enough money to have the club built back in 1967. And when I think what it's insured for now, and what we raised money for, and had it built in 1967 at a cost of £17,500.
Yeah.
It cost us more than that, or just that, to get us the sensory room built at the new club. But it just shows you how money has changed, and the value of things. And we've got it insured now, or we did have when I left, £225,000.
I think they got up to £1 million, didn't they?
Then they put it up to £1 million,
Yeah.
But yeah.
So what was your days like at the start of when Southdown Crescent opened the White Moss Youth Club, or formerly known as the Boys Club, wasn't it?
Well, it was because I had a lot of time on my hands, and I used to enjoy camping, and virtually at the same time I was going to another club in Cheetham Hill called an Old Simpson Centre, and I met a Mr. and Mrs. Davis. No, not Davis. Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Davison, and they taught us camping skills. Then I brought that back to White Moss, and we used to go camping. Good companion tents. We used to get the tents. I bought 5 of them from Ellis Brigham in Cathedral Street, mountaineering shop, and I used to take them camping. A group of us went up to the Lake District, North Wales, the Peak District over at Edale, and then further down we started going youth hosteling, and we had weeks away, and for £10 just sounds so ridiculous for a week's youth hostel. That included £10 the children paid. I went free because I was the organiser, but I had a leader's card, and it was those days where things were a lot safer in the countryside and travelling. And when we went youth hosteling, £10 for a week, and that included the trip in the hostel, the food, everything. And I actually gave them all £1 back. I said make sure, so it actually cost us £9. So I said make sure with that £1 you buy your dad and mum something. So they all bought a little present for the dads and mums.
So it was a good relation building thing as well, to get to know all the other kids at the youth club, going away to the Lake District. So how important was that as a bonding session?
Well, it was great because a lot of those children that were children at that time and now are adults, obviously. I still see them. I've still got in contact with different ones like Slogger Sloan and Alan Oatesy, and Ray Forsyth, of course, still in contact with Ray, and he went to the club on South Down Crescent, and also St Mark's, where we met and we played table tennis. We even had a visit from Chester Barnes, which was England's #1 at the time, and as a youngster, teenager, you meeting someone that was a professional, England's #1, and we played all afternoon at table tennis with Chester Barnes. You thought that was fabulous. Yeah, it was inspiring, and that's why one of my favourite sports at the youth club was table tennis. And we ran a table tennis team, and competitions, young people, children, they always like competitions, and they get a lot of self-satisfaction out of it.
So when you get to the age of 21, can you remember going back that time in the days or when it happened, when Mr. and Mrs. Elliott said, John, we want you to be the leader of the club? Can you remember how that was announced and where you was when it happened?
It was on my 21st birthday. And I got a little gold key with the key of the door at 21, and Mr. and Mrs. Elliott had made me this gold key to say they've been in touch with the education committee, and Mr. Gantz, who was the chief principal officer for Manchester in those years, he said, if you've got the enthusiasm, John, we're going to give you the job. And we got 3 years funding for me to run it full time.
Right.
I didn't do it for the money.
No.
But it was an acknowledgement to say, give it a go. And I really enjoyed it. Full time job. Going to somewhere to work with something you really enjoy doing. And you get a lot of self-satisfaction, as well as satisfying and giving other people their opportunities to volunteer as well.
What would be interesting to find out is what was the other kids your age back then reaction to you getting that position? Was the jealous? Was the supportive?
No.
How did that work?
There was no jealousy, and I think because I was kind of on the different committees before I took the job on full time, we built up a good relationship between the young people, the children, and it was just a great opportunity for me.
So it was never a problem?
Never a problem.
No.
You said, you've got the enthusiasm, John, you'd go for it.
See, that's unusual for the age of 21 to be on all different committees. That's normally when you get older.
Well, I was 16 and 17
like
when I was kind of, they put me as a voluntary leader.
So who put you as that, recommended you?
Mr. and Mrs. Elliott.
So they must have seen something in you.
Oh yeah,
at a young age.
It was through them that when they sadly passed away, within a week of each other, because Mrs. Elliott, she had a boy that died of leukemia, and that's why they put their heart and soul into providing a centre for the Charlestown area. And it was when they passed away, I was over in Denmark at the time, sadly, and it was them that kept me going, and I had something to kind of challenge and go for. I said, I'm doing this for you, Mr. and Mrs. Elliott. I'm going to keep this place going. You've done a lot with all the other adults that were involved, Mr. Ball, Mr. Nicholson, and even Clifford Lamb, the councillor, where we've got Clifford Lamb Court. He was councillor at the time. He was on the committee, but I got to know him. He had an off licence at the Four Ways, and Clifford Lamb Court was built with his name, and we got him involved in helping and giving us advice at the club.
It's funny how you just said that. I just come across a picture, black and white picture from the 60s of a beer and wine shop, I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering whether that was his
It
shop.
would be Clifford Lamb.
Right.
I bet it is.
So I'll put that in as a picture
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
see. I'll show you the picture to see
Yeah.
if it is.
Yeah.
It was a good picture as well.
He had it for a number of years,
Right.
and it was when he closed that down, and when he passed away, they decided to call Cliff.
Because the cinema was still there in the picture.
The hallways was still there. Yeah.
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 So he went first. Cinema
Yeah.
went after.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what? Over the years of working at the youth club, can you remember some of the best times of working at the youth club that you've had?
Well, there's so many things during the years. When I think
What's your 5 standout moments?
there's a Mancunian of the Year award that I got in 2001, in line with Bobby Charlton, Sir Bobby Charlton. I got that, and in 2002 I got carrying the baton in the Commonwealth Games. Back in I think it was 98, we got the inner cities, or one of the last inner city grants, of £100,000 to renovate the club. So we got a new heating system, new front doors, quite a lot of new things, toilets. That stood out, and of course where I first met Muriel, that's obviously one that I'll always remember and cherish. At the early days, meeting Muriel, at the time Mrs G, Mrs Griffiths and Mrs Elliott used to work together behind the tuck shop. They were a right couple, but super duper people. You know, the heart was in the right places, and I met Muriel at one of the discos where Pete the Bop used to come.
Yeah.
Pete Woodruff. He was my age, and he had some learning difficulties, but I tell you what, he was so clued up with everything that was going on in the area, so clued up with music, and it was a pleasure to have known him.
And also Donald Campbell.
And Donald Campbell, yeah. We met him one Christmas before, I think the Christmas before he did his flip up with his Bluebird on Lake Coniston, and he was killed on the water speed world record.
Shane Cameras wasn't about to get a picture of him.
Well, we got a picture of the Bluebird.
Did you?
It was in a black and white, but it was remember him coming over to us. We were camping on the banks of Lake Coniston, and he came over in his Bluebird and wished us a Merry Christmas. We went to where his his Bluebird was moored, and we had a look at we had a picture taken with Donald. With Donald wasn't on it actually, but his Bluebird
Just about.
was his boat, and that's certainly a memory.
So, Mr. and Mrs. Elliott, first names are Jim and Ethel.
Yeah.
People that don't know, and they obviously they were very inspirational for you and got you started in what you was doing. What good things can you say about them over the years that you've known them? What kind of stuff?
Well, they used to
stood out from the others.
They just used to. Mr. and Mrs. Elliott used to encourage me. I think I took a kind of light to them, and they were the ones that encouraged me to kind of look at grants and fill out application forms, give me advice on different things. I always remember going to Mr. and Mrs. Elliott's house, because they all lived at 47 South Down Crescent. I always remember the number. We used to go around there because Mr. Elliott always left the club at 9 o'clock because he was going to work. He worked at Ferranti's, and he was the first one that we knew that had a coloured television from Ferranti's. And we used to go around on a Thursday night about 7 o'clock and watch Top of the Pops when it started, and then from Top of the Pops there was me and a few others that came. it was the Boylands that came round. But from there, from his house, we always used to, Mrs. Elliot came with the key, Mr. Elliot came with the key, and we opened the club on Southdown, and opened the club till about 9:30, where Mr. Elliot left at 9 o'clock, and we kind of locked up.
So when you first started to see Muriel and go out with Muriel, what was them first days like that sparked it off?
Well, I think it's just recently I came across a diary of Muriel's back in the 70s, the early 70s, and the different things that she used to put in a diary, that she'd met me at the disco, she'd fallen out with me, I bought her a box of chocolates, box of After Eight, simple things like that, you know. Probably why, Johnny, you like
After Eight, yeah. More buys than me, by myself.
She worked at Booth Hall Hospital, and Mum worked at Booth Hall, but there were so many people that were kind of involved and volunteering for the club, worked at Booth Hall. All that's gone in Charlestown now. Lots of employment's gone in Charlestown. We used to have the ICI where Grandma used to work. We used to have British Aerospace where Granddad used to work. And so many different places, Smaller Parks, where they've all gone. Where I used to know Johnny Johnson, and we're still in contact with each other now. And his dad worked at Smaller Parks, so there's so much industry around North Manchester, and it's all gone, unfortunately. It's all kind of supermarkets now where you've got a chance of getting any employment.
So in the 1970s, you and two others, was it? Graham Phillips came at a later stage. You all decided to go to Denmark.
Well, it was Graham, not Graham. Graham did go to Denmark. John O'Toole and Alan Sloan. Yeah, and Paul Sloan. Paul Sloan.
Whose idea was that?
It was me and Paul's. We were getting a little bit tired of things. We'd been to Spain for one of the club holidays. £75 we paid for that holiday for 15 days in Blaine near Mallorca. And it was from there that Paul and myself said, do you fancy go? Well, we met some Danish people actually in Spain, and they invited us over any time you ought to come over. And we went over, me and Paul, one Christmas, and we liked it that much. We chatted and we decided, come on, let's hitch a lift, and we hitched it all the way down to Dover and got the boat over.
Can you remember them names?
Not the
Danish couple.
Yeah, it was Susanna was one of them.
So I've got her to thank for me being here.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been here if it weren't for
it was that relationship we had. She works for Aer Lingus at the time, and it was there you could fly. But though when we went first, we went on the boat, but it's like 15, 16 hours, 18 hours on the boat. But we had a good time on the boat, me and Paul. Met a lot of people, and but now it's only 2 hours to fly, so when we went over we flew.
So you did open your own nightclub, didn't you?
Yeah,
the Leopard Club.
It was the Leopard Club and the Joker Club.
So how was them days?
Those days, because I got some records, and Roy Jackson, he was involved, and he used to send me records over, and I built up a nice collection. Been back to Manchester, went to Roger Squires on Deansgate. They were the people that you bought your decks and electrical speakers from. So I went back as a mobile disc jockey, as well as working at Dunlop Sports Company. That's where I started learning how to string rackets. So from that I've learned to string rackets, and that's when I did eventually come back to Manchester. I opened my own sports shop.
So how long was you in Denmark for?
About 6 years.
And what was the good times and the bad times that you had?
Well, I think the bad side was not being able to get a job, but the good side was when you did get a job.
Mm.
But they were much easier to get employment those days, those years.
What was the
I
Danish
think-
people
I
like?
think, well, the Danish people made me so kind of welcome. I was lucky I found a nice family. Though I fell out with the Danes when they stole all my records.
Well, not the Danes, but the person who
The
stole
person who stole them was Danish, and
so-called friend.
So-called friends.
Yeah.
They must have known me because they knew I had records.
So he took them all.
So they took all my records, 3,000 records,
Mm.
cases, proper cases, my decks, my speakers, my lights, everything went. So that was my kind of DJ days gone. And that's where I decided to come back.
So what was the kind of friends and family that you met in Denmark that you remember meeting?
Well, I
the
remember
good friends.
meeting, your mum, for instance, Rebecca. We got married over here in Manchester. But I met her first at the nightclub.
So was you running the nightclub, or
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
so you was a DJ?
I was the DJ. I was what they call a resident disc jockey at the club, international disc jockey from Manchester. They used to put in the newspapers, in the Danish papers. I had fabulous days there.
Mm. So coming home from Denmark, we went to Ray Malone's, putting you up because we had nowhere to go.
I think we had about 3 months at Ray's. Ray
Yeah, I
and Jones.
remember it was about 10, I think.
Yeah.
So what was them days? And obviously we got to
I
thank
don't
Ray
know.
for putting us up.
I think you could have been about 8, to be honest.
Yeah,
A bit early
I do
days.
remember the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were born in 75, and then
And then I went to Moston Fields, didn't I?
I think in 83 you went to Moston Fields, and then that's where I started the sports shop, Racket Sportswear.
And first, before that, you came back to Hawkshead, didn't you?
Oh, Hawkshead.
In Cheetham Hill.
Oh yeah.
You came back to them.
No, I bought a house there, didn't I?
Yeah, so
Oh, no, I had that before. I had the house in Cheetham Hill before I went over to Denmark.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I sold that because we used to have the Danish flag on it, didn't we, on the
Yeah,
step?
on the step.
And it was your mum's family came over and didn't like the house all that much, so it was a little bit derelict around the area. And it was those days. Cheetham Hill wasn't the best of areas.
Yeah.
So we sold that house to go over to Denmark, and it was when we came back from Denmark, we went to Ray and Jones, and then I got a place at Damhead.
Right.
I got the house in Damhead, and it was
Inside
from
walk.
Linside Walk, and then from Damhead I went to Nigel Road to the sports shop.
Well, that comes on to the next question, which is sort of Church Lane memories and Racket Sports days. So we first went to, after Ray's, we went to Church Lane, lived there for a couple of years, and then you ended up buying a shop, didn't you? Racket Sports.
Yeah,
So
that's right. Yeah,
What was your memories of Racket Sports?
yeah, of
'Cause
course.
for me, it was great.
Yeah, so it was from Racket Sports. From there, we ended up on at Damhead, didn't we?
Yeah,
That's right.
I was 18.
Yeah.
So
I
what was
was
it like having the shop?
well from Church Lane. That it was from a 3-bedroom house that we bought for £14,500, and we sold that, and then managed to open the single shop first. And of course, I went on to what they call the Enterprise Allowance Scheme, where the government paid you £40 a week to open a business. So I thought I had this stringing to my fingertips, and I started stringing rackets from there. And then this shop next door, number 6, came available downstairs. So I kind of knocked through and made it into a nice big shop.
That was John Hall, wasn't it?
That was John Hall's shop.
The hardware shop.
Yeah, so we first started to rent it until we actually bought the the property eventually and put a flat up of where Joan went living.
So after Racket Sports, or as well, you had the shop. You was at the Market as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you opened a sports
Well,
shop
luckily we had Terry Strong and Neil
Good
Fox
cover.
was us helping us, and was it Diane Wetton?
Yeah.
She came and kind of between Terry and Neil, they went working at the Market, had a sports stall in there, and of course Muir was with us then, because it was 1987 when we got married. When it was at Rackets, I remember it was 3 years after that, after we went on our honeymoon to Menorca, and we used to, the night before we went round the shop and said we'll have that, taking them clothes, we'll have them clothes. It was so funny.
So after that, then losing the shop, we lost everything, didn't we?
We lost everything. We went into what they call insolvency, which we had to give up the business. We just went through a bad time.
Because I came home from school one day and they was taking everything out of the shop.
Yeah.
And they wanted to take everything in the back as well.
But they also, but they couldn't take the house.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
It was classed as personal stuff.
Yeah.
Could only take shop.
Yeah. But luckily me and Muriel had done a stock take a week before. That we didn't know that they were coming in. A week before, we'd done a stock take, and we found we ended up taking the bailiffs to court because they'd stolen some of the stock before it even got the chance to be sold off
to the
auctions. So I said, where's that gone, and luckily I had it all on paper, because I was that way. I always kept a paper trail, and luckily I'd done my stock take. I said, that's gone missing, the Rackets, and they'd ended up taking about £1,000 worth of stock.
Yeah.
So I took them to court.
So I think for me, growing up in a sports shop, when I could show my mates, when something came out new, I could wear this stuff straight away.
Yeah.
And it was so good, and people wanted to come and stay the night.
But remember the days that they had the shell suits came out, and put you in a shell suit, high-tech squash and green flash,
like a guinea pig.
Green flash and Kappa came out, and I had people coming up from London just to buy Kappa stuff because they couldn't get it from London.
Right.
I managed to get an account open with Kappa, and the stuff that I used to sell, and even on a Sunday morning someone would come knocking on my door, John, is there any chance you could sell me a racket? I'm on the way to Match Point over in Winslow Way.
Terry still wears all that kind of stuff.
Match Point it was called, the tennis club, and
Sergio Tacchina.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I said, well, you want a racket and it cost over £150, it was worth opening for a Sunday morning.
Yeah, so in them days have completely changed in the area that I grew up in, and you had the shop.
Yeah,
it's completely changed, and it's good that we had them memories, because I met some great friends. I grew up in a nice area at that time.
Yeah,
you could play out till it was, the street lights came on.
Yeah,
you was okay for me to just go out and did my thing.
Yeah, we knew everybody.
And recently I've done going back to Church Lane and Racket Sports, and it was just good to see what it's like now, and just get some of them memories up of what it was like when we was there.
Yeah.
So coming back to the Damed days was the next point.
Yeah,
what was them days like?
Yeah, it was because I was still working at the youth club. I'd gone back volunteering, and the Dam Head days I got involved in the In Bloom. It was the North West In Bloom, and it was Blakely and Charlestown North West In Bloom, and I was doing In Bloom work. I was running a tenants group, and we was having a lot of problems on Damhead, so I thought I'd start a football team, and the police supported me and gave us some money to buy a football kit for the lads. And still it continued. It was like Beirut on Damhead. It was that bad. Flats were getting burned
Like
out.
1992.
Yeah. It was a shame because it could have been a nice area.
And then you decided to come back to Charlestown then?
Yeah, and of course, lived next door on Lynside was Dave Smith. He lived next door, and he was our committee member at the club at the same time.
So while we was at the club, we'd met Roy Williams at the Mick Market. That goes on to Damhead.
Well,
Roy lived opposite
opposite
us in the next flat.
Yeah,
And he used to come past us to get to the bus stop at the shops.
that's right.
So that's where we got to know Roy.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a few memories of what Roy was like and what great things that he did?
Yeah, such a gentleman. He used to be on the Mrs. Merton show, Roy, and he used to have memories and tell me he's going over to Las Vegas with Carolina Hearn.
I've never been to America before, and I just can't wait now. It's coming on very, very shortly now. As if I'm going to like a fairyland, which it is in a way for me. And with it being the most glittering capital in the world, you can't argue with it that it's really going to spice my life up. And all I can say is, Viva Las Vegas! My American dream is becoming a reality, and I can feel the excitement building up inside me now. I'm going to meet all my old friends again on the Mrs. Merton show, and I'm really looking forward to it. No, I'm not missing home at all. No, because when I leave here, I go back to the reality of loneliness and picking up where I've left off.
This is a memory that will be with me the rest of my life. It's really, it's a different world altogether. You can't visualise it until you've actually seen it.
I'm coming home.
And I said, "You lucky man." I said, we're moving out of Damhead soon, and we're going over 1999 in December, and we moved to where we are today at Pinfold. I always remember the Millennium, and that's when we moved into here. And Roy was such a character. We used to always do the Benny Hill lookalike, and he got involved in the club and loved the club. Used to come and visit me when I was on the Mick Market, because I still kept that going under Racket Sports, though I'd lost the shop. I kept the Mick Market going.
And the initiative Roy had was giving trophies out to schools where kids had done well in school.
Yeah, he used to
and he
call
went over, got his picture took with him, and that was a great initiative, wasn't it?
Yeah, he liked to encourage people. He encouraged me, and he supported me in the work I was doing, especially with children in need. Children in Need supported the club for many years.
Yeah.
And through Roy's involvement with Children in Need, we raised money on the Mick Market for Children in Need. We had an Elvis show at the Charlestown pub. We raised money for Children in Need. Oh, well, Jeff helped us out because they gave me 3 years funding to run the club full time. And even for the fencing, the railings around White Moss Club, that came from Children in Need. So, they've supported us over many years, Children in Need. At one stage, you think, you said to yourself, you never see it. You saw it on television, but you never see any money coming to children to North Manchester anyway. When I got
And you
full
got
time,
3 years.
got 3 years
Funding
funding to
from
run it. Yeah.
And
So,
also, we'll have to mention Frank Lamar, which was Fufu.
yeah,
What he came and did the Spice Girls competition, and he was always there. Whenever you wanted him to come down and support you in an event,
yeah.
he was always there.
What a
Wasn't he?
gentleman he was. I always remember his greeting, his Jaguar coming up to the club. It was a green one, yeah.
No, that was his green suit.
Oh, was it his
Oh, his
green suit and
silver
his
Jag.
silver Jag, that was it, yeah.
Yeah.
I knew green came into it.
Or was it a Rolls Royce? Was it a Rolls Royce?
Could have been, yeah, it could have been a Rolls Royce.
It was a posh car.
It was a
anyway.
posh car,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it was on Mother's Day, Mothering Sunday, that we had the Spice Girls competition. And you can imagine how full of activity that club was on that day. When you think there was 5 girls in the Spice Girls, we had 12 teams, there's 60 girls, and their families, mums, dads, sisters, brothers, all came to the show. And we had Fufu, Frank Lamar, he kind of judged with me and a few others the winning 3 teams, and there was all local girls and boys, young people, to dress up with the Spice Girls, and the actual winning team got 6 tickets to go and see the Spice Girls.
And the other famous person we need to mention is Sir Bobby Charlton. How did you get to first meet Bobby and at the Vassar Club?
At the Vassar Club, that was when he came round collecting, signing autographs, photographs, for Club Week. That was always October, round about October the 21st. Like Children Need have it on November the 21st. Club Week came before in October, and Bobby came round. We went to Ferrantes, we went to the Vassar Club, we went to a few other local places, Ferrantes nightclub, and everything that we collected went to the club. And thanks to Bobby. And Bobby didn't charge anything. That was the free thing that Mr. Elliott got Bobby coming round. And like Bernard Manning, you know,
Yeah.
he supported as well. We used to go down to his club and have kind of shows down there to raise money.
He's raised quite a lot of money for the club, hasn't he, over the
Yeah,
years?
yeah.
And in 2000, and as well, that you met him again in the Queen's Jubilee
Yeah, yeah,
at the Town Hall in Manchester.
yeah, yeah,
So-
that's right. Yeah, the Queen's Jubilee, yeah. That was nice, and it was on the table. The table next to us was Bobby Charlton, and at the back of Bobby was
The Queen.
the Queen, and of course Bobby Charlton sent me a nice plaque with his photograph for 40 years to John Biggs on his 40 years of volunteering at the community centre.
And I remember I wrote to Old Trafford and told the story of what you did and how we first met. I sent the picture of Bobby and you at the Vassar Club in the 60s.
Yeah,
And Bobby wrote back and that's what he sent,
that's
which
right.
was
And
really
even,
good of him.
even on the back of this plaque that we've got, Sir Bobby Charlton CBE, born on 11th of October 1937. So that was well before me. I was born in 48. And it was a nice gesture from Bobby, and it was only because you've been in touch with him, Johnny, that we got this sent to us on the 40 years of volunteering.
So, in 2013, you become the British Medal Empire holder.
Yeah,
And can we ask how that came about and who it was?
well,
of?
he had to be nominated by councillors,
Yeah.
by the general public, and I think it was in 2015.
Arthur John Biggs. 47 years, John Biggs has dedicated his time to leading the White Moss Club for young people, whilst holding a number of additional positions in the wider community. John's connection with the White Moss Club started when he began attending as a boy at the age of 10. In 1967, he took over as leader, dedicating his time to ensuring young people have a positive journey to adulthood and develop invaluable life skills. Since then, John has continually raised funds to ensure the club's sustainability and delivered cross-community work in a diverse community. Although White Moss's club's title would suggest it is a service exclusively for young people, the centre provides a social and educational base for all sections of the community. The willingness to be accessible to the whole community is a fundamental characteristic of John's voluntary and charitable service. John brings together local people and agencies and has spearheaded activities such as a community family Sunday roast, as well as sharing with families the skills that produce healthy and economic meals, and amongst others, leading a community allotment. In addition to his role as chair of the club, he took up the position as chair of Charlestown Tenants Association in 2006 and is chair of the area panel for the Northwoods Housing Association from 2007, a role he continues to hold today. John's holistic approach to supporting his community has been recognised by his supporters over the years, and in 2002 he was awarded Mancunian of the Year, and in 2012 Manchester City Council awarded him a Be Proud Award. My Lord Lieutenant, I present John Biggs for the award of the British Empire Medal.
Yeah,
That
something
actually
like that.
received
Yeah.
the award.
But you got nominated in.
I got nominated in 2013.
Yeah.
Actually got the medal, the British BEM it's called, the British Empire Medal for kind of volunteering work in the community. It has stopped at one stage by the Queen, and then it got reintroduced around about the year before I got mine.
And this medal was for all 50 years of your volunteering at the club.
Absolutely, just recognition
Yeah.
on
that was
all
nice.
the work, which was very nice. Actually got it presented to me. Uncle Bob came down on the day
In Bury.
in Bury. We went there and it was presented by the Lord Mayor of Manchester and the Lord Lieutenant representing the Queen,
Yeah.
and it was about a month later we got the invite to go down to Buckingham Palace at a garden party,
Which you and Mural
which
went
me
to.
and Mule went down, but you could only have 2 people going down there.
And what was that experience like?
That was nice, but there was 2,000 people down there. When you got a little bit of a cake and a sandwich,
So did you see the Queen or?
we saw the Queen. She came in and
Right.
we didn't actually speak to her because
But you actually see.
we
see
saw
them.
the Queen there.
That's cool.
She came. It was nice. A nice occasion. It's one of those occasions that will always live in your memories.
So over the years, you've probably raised hundreds and thousands of
Oh,
pounds
Probably.
over the years. If you sat down and over the decades.
Johnny, how many times I said I'd work out one day?
The
how much
funding,
I'd
yeah,
raise?
you keep saying that you're gonna.
I said I'll try and do that one day, and it would come to a few million.
Yeah,
Honest,
yeah,
I've
yeah,
raised
yeah.
over the period of time from going out at Club Week collecting money for.
I think that in itself should be the most thing that you're proud of, because all that money has contributed to the community coming together, kids being off the streets,
Yeah, well,
kids meeting other people and getting to know the kids.
Yeah.
So is that a proud thing that you did?
it's proud because what I always like doing is we didn't have everything put on a plate for us. Like today, the people that took over, they've put money into it. They've got it from other people's investment, where we actually got the children, got the young people involved, got the young volunteers involved, and they helped on raising the money for the club. So I've been there at the top of the list encouraging the fundraising, filling out the forms, the final form. Got different people helping with different ones, with different forms, because when we got the Mugger area, the football multi-use games area at the back of the club, that was £100,000. We got some help to do that form, but that was the contact that I had and the people that I knew. So I mean, just that one alone, £100,000 for the games area, but people appreciated it and they looked
Yeah.
after it a lot more.
We did it for the community.
We did it for the community,
Yeah,
for
not the
children.
money.
Not the money.
Yeah.
Uh,
And that's what, when you
the-
take the heart and soul out of an area,
Yeah,
i.e. a club,
yeah.
I don't think it's the same.
It's not the
Nobody
same.
can replicate what.
It's difficult for
what you
someone
did.
to replicate, because I'd grown up as a child in the community and I had that many contacts.
Yeah.
I could put my hand to someone who was a plumber or an electrician or a builder. Look at when we built the extension, it was Steve Crawford, it was his friends that built that extension.
So do you think this was an old school thing? Because a lot of places like Salford Lads, they have a lot of older people in their 80s, 90s still doing youth work.
Yeah, unfortunately these people are passing away,
Yeah.
and if we didn't start teaching young people to volunteer, you've got nobody else filling that gap. People expect money coming from the council or coming from the government, you know.
See, what you might not realise is like Mr. and Mrs. Elliot, when you were 17, inspired you to go on committees and whatnot.
Yeah.
You being at the club and doing what you did has probably inspired a young person. Might not now, but
No.
later down the line, that person might go on to do some great things,
Yeah.
and you probably have been a part of that.
Yeah, how many times have
Inspiration.
we've been out in the local pub in the Charlestown and met people. Wow, how are you, John? I tell you what, I'm glad we had the club to go to, because
Yeah.
you inspired me, and you know, you kept me from going down the wrong
The wrong
route,
road. Yeah.
the rocky road.
Yeah.
If you hadn't have been there, John, that's where we would have gone.
Well, my memory of Neil Absalom, who
Yeah.
was a club member on seniors,
Yeah.
he went through hell
He
and
was
back
going to, yeah.
on a lot of difficult
Different
situations,
issues, yeah.
and you yourself borrowed him money to get out the area
Yeah.
and to help him
Well,
change his life
yeah,
around.
I kind of donated something for him, just to get him out of the situation he was in, because there wasn't the right support out there for him. It was difficult to get hold of someone to help him, whether it's through disabilities, whether it's for drugs, or whether it was for this or that. It's always difficult to find the right organisation, the right people to support.
But I think also working at the youth club, you see different sides of people.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
where if you see someone on the street, police might see the bad side of a person, but
Yeah.
we seen the good in Neil,
Yeah,
and we supported him, didn't we?
yeah.
And he's turned his
Yeah.
life round.
Yeah, and he appreciates that, because
Yeah.
he's into the church now and he's helping people, and he's got away from the people that were
old crowd.
leading him. Yeah, they're leading him the wrong way,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, that's the way the world is. People are kind of are not supporting others in different things.
Yeah. And finally, we've got to end on Danny Grant, who is just 86 years old, has passed away 4 weeks ago. We're going to be going to the funeral on the 10th, which is this
Next
Wednesday.
yeah.
Can you tell people what Danny was like and your experiences with Danny?
Well, I think before I mentioned Danny, I mentioned Muriel. She passed away in August.
Sorry, yeah.
And when I think the memories that she had of Danny. Danny used to come round here every Friday from the club, used to bring food, and used to say hello to Muriel,
Yeah.
and Resty, the carer, and he built up that relationship between us,
Yeah.
And of course, all the work that he used to do down at the club, the volunteering, loved his gardening skills. We made use of it, and it wasn't a job for him. It was something he enjoyed doing. Look at the polytunnel, that's been taken down, which is sad. When I think me, you, Danny, and a few others had put our heart and soul into that building. Same with the waterfall, but Danny has always been a massive input to the community and to White Moss. He did so much in the area, Cheetah Mill, delivering food, used to help me at the lunch club, on serving teas and coffees for everybody. Everybody knew Danny's there. What do you want to drink, love? What do you want, darling? And he was what a gentleman. And still at 86, and people said, I can't believe he was 86. It's what a gentleman. And he used to help me on the coach with the Nomads. So he'd put his hand to anything that I could get him involved with. He didn't have a problem with. He used to just come along and help out, and it gave him something to build up. And it's just sad to see the way Danny has passed away after all the work and volunteering that he's done in the community. And it's people like this, like your murals, who would drive me to Booker's shop, building the tuck shop up, and we'd go and fill it all up, ready for the
people
mum.
don't see.
But this was work that people didn't see. The work that Steve Crawford did, coming in on a Sun to fix a leak in the toilets. Graham Bates.
Yeah.
So many volunteers that have been involved at the club, and really Muriel and Danny and Betty Ellis that just passed away. Betty Fox, known as, well, I knew Betty from years and years ago. She had a place called the Lucky Seven Bingo Club. They used to support us, raising money for the club. It's people like that are sadly passing away, and are unfortunately not being replaced.
Well, I think my memories of Danny, every time he used to come in the club, he used to tap his key on the front door on a Monday night, and Quinn used to go to the front door, and Danny was there with a big smile on his face, and he'd help us whatever we needed in the garden. He was there to help us develop the garden. Whenever we had an event, he was the man to do the teas, the coffees, the brews. He was such a nice man, and it was such a pleasure that I got to know him. We went to his 80th birthday party, surprised him, and I've also done a video for young Danny Grant, which is slideshow of all the pictures that I had and a few videos of the 80th celebration. Put a bit of his band playing, the steel band. He used to like a bit of Trinidad music together with it, and it was just such a pleasure knowing him. And
he travelled all over the world with in his band.
Denmark, Germany, because I did a podcast with him, and that's what I put in the video as well, so his family can see how much he meant to me and you, and to the volunteers that I got to know him. So that's my I'm just so glad to have known him and to have been such a big part of the youth club, and it makes me proud that I've known him, you know, and I hope he rests in peace and we see him when we're up there. So is there anything else that you would like to say?
I'm just glad that
Final thoughts.
The final thoughts, basically,
You're going to do your book.
I'm going to do my book one of these days. Now I've got a little bit more time. The day we met Zoe, she was 6 and we let her in the club. Joan kind of.
That's only because she was pestering every day.
No, she lived on the corner, and she was just a little bit too young to come in. And Muriel's mum said, "Come on, let me pay your membership," and she joined. And we know she had problems
Yeah.
domestically, and we helped her out at the time, and we're still in contact with each other. She did a reading at the church when we all passed away.
She was
The
brilliant.
Creme. She was, and we both thought that she wouldn't make it through it,
Yeah.
but you know she did,
Yeah.
and she's still supporting us now in bringing some of her friends together that knew Muriel, and with knowing people like that, and Danny, you're obviously part of the life of what I've been started
Set
off
up.
with, and all the good people that I've met some rogues in my life, but you know that's part and parcel of
Good
youth,
rogues.
yeah, you know, it's part and parcel of youth work. You work with the good, you work with the bad,
Yeah.
you know, and no one can turn around and say John was only there for the good ones.
Yeah.
No, John was
He's
there.
been there for the bad
Remember
ones,
what
innit?
we used to always do? If parents came in to collect the children, I said, you know, your so and so, your daughter, your sister, your son has been such an inspiration tonight. I like to praise children,
Yeah.
and say how good. Not just like you hear at school all the naughty things that goes on. You always let know the good things that these people have done, and kids like that. We all like it. We all like a thank you. Remember when they came to the tuck shop? We wouldn't serve them until they said please or thank you.
And also,
That was
without the volunteers like Sam Key, Linda,
Karen Epe.
Karen Epe,
Yeah.
all them volunteers, Liam England, Claire
Yeah.
Lyons,
Yeah.
Ting Tong, you know, Louise Dale. Without them kind of people, we wouldn't have been nothing
No.
without them.
We were so fortunate the year that we did it, the years that we've done it, to have such good volunteers.
Yeah.
Look at Jenny, she had a bad back,
Yeah.
and you know,
And now I've got one.
you got one. You must
Yeah,
have
must
run
have got
dock
it off
onto
her.
you.
Thanks, Jenny.
And it's people like that. And Zoe, she used to enjoy working at the special needs night, as we used to call it. And it's called additional needs now.
Yeah.
But things change. But without, as you say, people like those,
We couldn't have managed.
we couldn't have managed. We
No,
would
not
have
so.
continued. We've encouraged the young people to come through. Leonard,
Leonard Brooks,
yeah.
Liam England, Jack,
Jack, yeah.
Jack as well.
And look, he's doing work with the Scouts.
Jasmine,
Jasmine,
yeah.
yeah.
It's just so many
There's so many people
kids.
that we've been involved with.
And if we hadn't have gotten volunteering at the club,
Yeah.
where would their lives have
Yeah.
gone?
But
What
we-
road would they have gone
Yeah,
down
but
if we hadn't have been?
we couldn't have done what we've done without these people.
No.
So they've been part of our lives, and those are the memories that we'll always cherish.
Yeah.
And we can sit back and think we could be fortunate enough to remember we've got that. People that are taking over the club won't have that yet.
No.
Maybe further down the line,
I know.
but everything's been put on a plate for them.
Yeah.
The money's
exactly.
been there for
You've
them.
done all the hard work.
We've done the graft
yeah.
to get the club
Yeah.
where it is.
Well, my final memory is we kept thousands of kids off the streets,
Absolutely.
and
And
nobody can take that away
No,
from
we
us,
sh-
and that's what
we
we
should be
should
proud
be
of
proud
that.
of.
Yeah, and that's-
And nobody can take that away.
No.
And I'm so proud to have a dad that has inspired me to do the same as what you've done. Yes, you've done it a different way, but I can't be the same as you.
I wouldn't expect that.
And like Quinn, I wouldn't expect him to be the same as me. I've tried to do it my way. I did it my way.
There's a daddy
And,
word in
and,
there.
and that's what works, I think, with me and you. We've
Yeah.
always been me and you.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, we've been so close.
yeah.
And I think that's how it's worked. Yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but the pressures of running a youth club is
Yeah.
intense.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get to see, all the intense behind
Well-
the back scenes of what goes on.
Yeah.
You just come on a Friday and think, yeah, it's all set up, but
all
you know,
set
it's a
up.
lot of hard work.
Where's all the craft work come from?
Yeah,
Where have we got it? How it's been funded? People have donated things, you know.
yeah. And I do miss all that setting up things, because I used to set things
Well,
up for the kids,
Bouncy
and
Castle, didn't we?
and my sort of smile on my face with seeing them go home at night, just
Yeah.
with a big smile on their
Yeah.
face, and think, yeah, that's kept them off the streets, and they've had a great
Yeah.
time, whether it's on the bouncy
Yeah.
castle, arts and craft, or seeing Nicky at the tuck shop. You know, thanks to Nicky, we forgot Nicky,
Yeah.
but Nicky, we couldn't have done it without her either.
No,
You know,
there's
there's so many
Rebecca.
people. Yeah, yeah,
There's quite a few, and when you think of the grotto that we did, we had to have prizes, we had to have presents to wrap up and give. Where did they come from?
Yeah.
We got them. We got, and where did the grotto come from? One of my friends had donated £1,000, and we bought it with his money. But I won't
Ron
say who
Baines?
it is. I was
well,
going to
he's
say.
died now, so I don't think he's gonna.
No, but it was
He wanted
was
to
wrong.
put something back,
He
didn't
wanted to put something back in the
because he knew
community.
what we was doing.
Yeah, so he
So it's good,
donated
isn't
the money,
Yeah.
and we used it positively, and we said at the time,
Yeah,
this is what we're going to do with the money.
yeah, and he was.
And he was happy with that.
Yeah,
And to see the kids' faces when they went
Yeah.
into the grotto,
yeah.
and
And Baba dressing up as
Yeah,
Sansa,
yeah,
that was
yeah.
great. Yeah,
oh Baba, yeah,
Yeah. he was. He
such
was,
an inspiration.
He was. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
great with the kids.
Yeah,
And it's kids like that, because when Baba was a young kid, he was a bit of a role.
well,
But you know,
when I
with
think,
being at the youth club, it's sort of, you see different sides to him, and he was so inspirational to them kids.
what is so strange about life
Mm.
is that Baba, when he lived on Southdown Crescent, lived at where Mr. and Mrs. Elliot lived, at
Oh, did they?
47 Southdown Crescent.
Oh,
I thought how ironic that is,
yeah,
that Mr. and Mrs. Elliot lived at 47 and Baba also lived at 47,
right.
you know, years
After.
after.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that must be something about that house.
Yeah, yeah.
If you believed in things.
Yeah.
You know, it's so strange.
Well, thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
It's been a good
Yeah.
to chat to you. Hopefully, people will get a lot out of our chat and hearing your ways and means of
And I always
life.
say, if we've missed anybody off that,
Yeah.
on the volunteers, because we had that many good volunteers, it's always difficult at the time to thank everybody by name. You can always say, oh, I forgot to mention so and so,
Yeah.
but this is for everyone that we've missed. Thank
Yeah.
you to them.
Legally, we have to say that, so we don't get sued off somebody.
Yeah,
All right. Well, God bless everyone, and keep positive.
yeah, thank you.